we point out some more challenges what we see with dynamic pricing. And the first one is different willingness to pay in the market. Right now, what we see in the economy is that we are dealing with inflation all around the world. And in some countries, this leads to a recession. In some companies, it doesn't lead to a recession. So the willingness to pay per consumer really depends on the economic conditions. And it's also important that you can apply your dynamic pricing with this willingness to pay. So you need the technology and also the AI technology that can help you the willingness to pay for each product. And that's a challenge we see in the market when buying dynamic pricing and fully focusing on the competition. Another challenge we see is to comply with all the regulations of Amazon and the bol.com prices. Companies need to stick to these regulations in order to sell with the buy boxes, but also with other regulations. And sometimes challenge to comply with these regulations. And another challenge is that companies are solely focusing on the competition, and this is also has to do with the definition of dynamic pricing. So if you're fully focusing on the competition, then you have the risk to have a kind of a race to the bottom, so that you're competing for the lowest price in the market. And it's actually a never-ending process. And you see that more and more companies are realizing that and applying the smart business rules to avoid a race to the bottom. So this is why you need to take into account the demand, the supply, the margin KPIs, and also the willingness to pay, to include more factors than just competition in order to also work on a revenue and margin improvement. Another challenge we see is the speed of execution. This has to do with their infrastructure, to turn market changes quickly into dynamic prices, and also your pricing systems need to have the flexibility to make changes quickly and to add new dimensions for pricing very quickly. So for example, if you would like to add a new sales channel, you don't want to wait months for applying a new dynamic pricing strategy for the sales channel, but you just want to duplicate the current pricing algorithm to this new sales channel and make small adjustments. But therefore, you need to have the right systems in place, and also you need to have the right infrastructure. Another challenge we see is the return of investment, as we see companies struggling between having a good balance between the gains you have, the benefits of dynamic pricing, and the cost. Therefore, a good business case needs to be made, and a good payback time of the dynamic pricing technology, of course, should be in healthy balance between these two components. The last challenge I would like to share is the communication. I can best explain that with the next slide, the next cartoon, because a question can arise is, do you need to communicate to your customers that you're applying dynamic pricing? And you can see the example here of Wendy's. It's a restaurant in the States that also applied dynamic pricing, and they made this cartoon. We just implemented our new practice of dynamic pricing, so your meal will be $14.94. Oh wait, it's now $19.82. Wait, it's now $88.51. Wait, a lot of confusion. Of course, it's a funny cartoon, but it needs to be clear. Of course, what is the logic behind the dynamic pricing if you want to start with this? Probably for this Wendy's salesman, it's not clear what is the logic. So that's a funny example why the communication of dynamic pricing, if you're applying it, also should be clear. Another example.